One more thing that I want to say about this therapy, defensive kind of feelings in session. This might not, again, it might not be I don't think it's a bad thing, but it actually might be a really good thing, we'll say, because it might be empathy that you're feeling in session. It might not be your own stuff. It could be, but it could also be a clue as to what the client is going through across from you. And that is just a tool for therapy that can be really, really helpful. So if you have like a slight sensation of disconnection, that happens to me a lot where I feel that like disconnection, that's a clue that my client may be going through something similar. And now you and I, we have to be able to discern, is that my stuff or is that their stuff? And if you have empathy, that means you can feel what they're feeling. But if you have compassion, that means you can feel what they're feeling and you can have access to your safety state. So you kind of have to discern. You have to know for yourself what's your stuff and what's their stuff. I can't do a course in that right now, but that's the basic idea. Oftentimes in session, I'll have feelings of like tightness in my muscles or in some muscles, or I'll have tension or shallow breath, maybe even like a flavor of panic, sometimes like a disconnection. And what I'll do is I'll use this as a prompt. I'll just kind of gauge, is that my stuff or is that their stuff? And I'll use that as a prompt with the client, like, hey, just to like check in with them about how they're doing in that moment. And I'm consistently surprised at how accurate this can be. It can be super helpful. When I have those sensations of like pressured breathing or shallow breathing, tightness, I can use that as a prompt and say to the client, like, hey, how you doing right now? I don't typically say, hey, here's my feelings. Are you feeling them too? I don't think there's anything wrong with that. If you can own it and use that responsibly in session, I don't think there's anything wrong with that necessarily. That's just not how I typically work. But I'll feel those things and I'll say, hey, what's going on for you right now? How are you feeling right now? And then bring their attention inward and I'll be more specific and say, how's your breathing right now? I won't say, hey, my breathing is shallow. How about you? But I'll say, check in with your breathing. How's your breathing right now? Or how's your muscle tension? Or do a body scan. How are you feeling right now? So these somatic clues, I call them, these can be super helpful in session, and it's not necessarily because you're dysregulated. It might be a reflection of what the client's going through. That's fantastic. So, but you got to be able to discern. If it is your own sensation, I don't know. You got to figure out what grounds you. I can't tell anybody else that. For me, the deep breathing in session, slowing my breathing on the way out, that's helpful. A lot of times, just like changing my position can be helpful. If I feel that energy ramping up, leaning forward, especially if the client is leaning forward and kind of mirroring them, that can be really helpful. But sometimes just switching my position, it helps somehow. I don't even know how it helps, but it just kind of helps. It's just like getting out of my somatic defensive energy in that moment. Switching it up does something, and that's about as far as I can take it. But that helps too. So you could also just like clench your muscles and relax them, and no one can tell you're really doing it. If you're, maybe neuroceptively they're picking up on it, but consciously no one's going to know you're doing it at least. But you can just like, while you're sitting in your therapy chair, just tense your muscles and relax. Tense and relax. Or your calves, your forearms, whatever it is, just sort of subtly do that. And that can be helpful as well. But also, if you have no idea what the heck works for you, I have a course called Building Safety Anchors. That can be helpful in my opinion. The whole idea behind the course is to help you identify what brings you to safety. And this is, I think, good for even therapists, all right, is to identify what brings you to safety, what helps you to feel safe and more well-regulated. So identifying these things beforehand can help you construct your therapy room to be more of a feeling of safety. And hopefully we never really know what our clients are going to feel safe with. There could be some general things, but at least for you, you can construct it to have elements of safety in there for you. The course can help you with that. The course can help you identify what movements, what thoughts, what helps you to feel more well-regulated. That's called Building Safety Anchors. Again, that's on justinlmft.com.